There's a place in the United States where time didn't just slow down, it stopped completely. A place where doors are still half open, bottles still sit on dusty tables, and silence feels heavier than it should.
No crowds, no noise, just wind moving through broken wood, like it's trying to tell a story nobody stayed long enough to hear. That place is Bodie State Historic Park.
Located in Eastern California, on the western side of the United States, part of North America, Bodie sits high in the desert near the Nevada border, isolated, exposed, and frozen in a version of itself that never moved forward.
At first glance, it looks like a movie set, but the difference is, nothing here was built for show. This was real, a functioning town, a booming economy, a place where thousands of people once chased opportunity, built lives, and then left it all behind.
The story of Bodie starts the way many American ghost towns do, with gold. In 1859, a prospector named William S. Bodie discovered traces of it in these hills. That single moment triggered what you could call a full-scale human migration event. People came in waves: miners, business owners, gamblers, families. Within a few years, Bodie transformed from nothing into one of the most active gold mining towns in California. At its peak in the late 1870s, Bodie wasn't small, it was intense. Nearly 10,000 people lived here. There were over 2,000 buildings, saloons, hotels, gambling halls, brothels, general stores, a school, even a church. But this wasn't a peaceful growth story. Bodie had a reputation: violent, unpredictable, chaotic. The kind of place where disputes didn't end in conversation. They ended fast. People used to say, "Goodbye, God, I'm going to Bodie." That line wasn't just dramatic, it was strategic communication. It told you everything about the risk level. This wasn't just a town, it was an environment where survival required awareness, speed, and a bit of luck. But here's where things shift, because just as fast as Bodie scaled up, it declined. The gold started running out. Investors pulled back. Businesses lost traction. And one by one, people began to leave. No big announcement. No organized shutdown. Just quiet exits. Houses abandoned. Shops closed. Personal belongings left behind, like their owners planned to come back, but never did. And that's the part that makes Bodie different from other abandoned places. It wasn't cleaned up, it wasn't reset, it wasn't repurposed, it was paused. Today, Bodie State Historic Park operates under what's called arrested decay. That means the buildings aren't restored, they're stabilized, preserved exactly as they were found. Not improved, not modernized, just held in place, like pressing pause on a system that crashed mid-operation. When you walk through Bodie now, you're not looking at ruins in the traditional sense. You're looking at a town mid-sentence. Peek through the windows and you'll see it. Beds still made, plates still on tables, old newspapers, school desks, tools, clothing. It feels less like history and more like interruption. Like everyone stepped out for a moment and something happened that stopped them from ever returning. The environment around Bodie reinforces that feeling. High desert, dry air, wide open land. The wind doesn't just pass through, it cuts through. Temperatures swing hard. Summers are hot and exposed, winters are cold and unforgiving. This isn't a place designed for comfort. It's a place that tests resilience.
And yet, people once built a full life here. That contrast is what creates tension. You're standing in a location that was once full of noise, energy, conflict, ambition, and now it's completely silent. No movement, no voices.
From a storytelling perspective, Bodie is powerful because it shows how fast momentum can collapse. One moment, it's a booming system with high activity. Next moment, it's empty. No transition phase that feels complete, just a hard stop. There's also something psychological about it.
When you visit Bodie, you don't just observe, you start imagining. Who lived here? What were their last moments like before leaving? Did they know it was over, or did they expect to come back the next day? Even the smallest details trigger questions. A chair facing a window, a bottle left unopened, a door slightly off its hinge. Nothing is explained, but everything suggests something.
And then there's the isolation factor. Bodie isn't positioned near major cities or busy highways. You have to intentionally go there. The drive itself feels like a transition. Modern world fading out, emptiness fading in. By the time you arrive, your mindset has already shifted. You're not rushing anymore. You're observing.
Wildlife moves through the area quietly. The landscape stays still, and the town remains exactly where it was left. There's also a local belief tied to Bodie, something visitors mention often. People say if you take anything from the town, even something small like a rock or coin, bad luck follows until it's returned. Whether you believe that or not, it reinforces the idea that Bodie isn't just abandoned, it's respected, untouched for a reason. From a macro view, Bodie State Historic Park is more than a ghost town. It's a case study in rise and collapse, a reminder that growth without sustainability doesn't last, that even the busiest systems can go silent, and that sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones that don't have a clean ending. Because Bodie doesn't give you closure, it gives you evidence. Evidence of ambition, evidence of risk, evidence of how quickly things can change when the foundation disappears. And as you stand there, surrounded by empty buildings and open land, one thing becomes clear. This place wasn't meant to be remembered like this, but somehow, that's exactly why it is.